Hi everyone and welcome to FilmDirt. What a pleasure it was to revisit an absolute classic, True Lies. It was released in 1994 and directed by James Cameron, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, with Bill Paxton, Tom Arnold, Tia Carrere and Art Malik. As I said, what an absolute pleasure of a movie. This is what James Cameron should be directing more of. It's just an all-round fun action comedy, but action and comedy both done equally well. And you wonder, why has so much time passed and James Cameron hasn't done more of these? Not even a sequel, but just another in this vein. You see him pair up here with Arnold, and it's not a Terminator film, and you kind of wish that they would have made Terminator 3, 4, 5. Surely there must have been more stories to tell. So in the first scene, straight away, it kind of reminds you of James Bond, and I think that's a running theme for the whole film, where you've got a Bond-like spy game agency thing happening, and he's quite charismatic in the first scene, isn't he? You can see how great of an actor Arnold is. He's got the big screen presence, and I always think he had that movie star persona. And when there isn't action, in the quieter moments, he's carrying the film still with his great acting. Even though the other actors here are great. I've always loved Bill Paxton. He's got that screen presence as well. And Jamie Lee Curtis here is absolutely fantastic. And for the most part, this film kind of reminds me of one of those, the word I can best describe it is as a caper. And you're just swept along on this ride, and you're just going with it. All of the jargon and all the spy stuff being spoken about, and double crossing and finding out who's doing what. You're just completely along for the ride. You're just taking in everything as it is. And some good comedy moments here as well. And we all know Arnold is quite a talented comedian in films as well. He can deliver the one-liners and be incredibly funny. Like when he elbows Bill Paxton, or imagines elbowing Bill Paxton. That's probably my favourite shot of the film. And Art Malik as the villain, he's such an underrated actor, and we don't really see enough of him. I'd like to see him more often. I'm sure he's still acting. It's been a while. And also I have to mention Charlton Heston. I didn't expect him to show up, but you can see how he holds the attention of the scene. I don't know what it is. It's his voice or just his face. He's just got that big movie star magnetism. That's probably the word I was looking for, magnetism. He just draws you into him. So this film has got those moments throughout, and I can't help wishing that we had got more of this. It's probably one of my favourite films of the 90s. I do feel that some of the middle portions of the film, where he's trying to delve deeper into whether Jamie Lee Curtis's character as his wife, Helen, is really sleeping with Simon, that would normally be a distraction from the main story. But we're treated to a fantastic erotic dance during those scenes, so we can just go along with it, and it's not a negative to the film at all. And also it's one of those films that seems fairly complicated when you break it down, as you normally would a story, where the title is True Lies, and there's a lot of characters lying to each other, and they've got many secrets, as Arnold has. And also Jamie Lee Curtis is brought into the mix as well. She's got a double life, as it were. But you just go along with it, as I said earlier, and it kind of falls into place. And that's what a talented filmmaker does. He's putting all these many threads into place, and he's an expert at that. And he doesn't lose the audience. I was gripped, and it was I think it was 2 hours 20, which is a fairly long-ish film, and it's so much fun throughout that runtime. And it finishes with those fantastic scenes with the Harrier jump jet, which is such an iconic plane. I don't know how they achieved those scenes. There's obviously some blue screen going on and some very early 90s animation. It's all really phenomenal. It's just how the scenes are put together, and all that imagery of the Harrier hovering over the city. I don't think it's been bettered, that type of action, since. And I had it up on my big screen at home, with the speakers doing their thing, and absolutely phenomenal. And the only real disappointment is, as I said earlier, I wish James Cameron had done more films like this for sure. So you've probably guessed, it's 5 stars from me. And I'm going to be covering James Cameron's films a lot more on this channel, where he again pairs up with Arnold. You can probably guess what they are. So stay tuned for those. And also, thanks again for joining me for this little refresher and revisit of this classic. Join me again next time by liking and subscribing. It was great speaking to you. All the best and take care.